I spent the last couple days talking about how globally the problem of glyphosate being toxic, at least genotoxic, quite likely, how that issue has been kicked down the road by the European Union governments who decided to just put it into the hands of individual countries, or the United States EPA saying, well, we need more research. In fact, we need a little bit more research. Well, we're not sure yet. Let's continue to research. Meanwhile, Bayer, the company that produces glyphosate and purchased it from Monsanto, continues to make billions and billions of dollars every year and lobby governments to allow glyphosate to continue to be sprayed. Now I want to bring it home to New Brunswick. So we went kind of global, North American. We talked about the Canadian Pest Regulatory Agency. What is going on in New Brunswick up to now? Well, in 2021, the Standing Committee on Climate Change and Environmental Stewardship, remember the name of this standing committee. When I'm working as your MLA, the members of MLA, we become members of committees. And so this was a committee of MLAs. They held hearings in 2021 in June and in September, where they invited people to come and witnesses to come and testify on glyphosate, its uses, its benefits, its potential harms. And so you had statements from farmers and industry and citizens and indigenous leaders and conservation groups. And so it was quite thorough. And at the end of the hearings, when they wrapped up, a report was tabled. And so this report was tabled in November of 2021 as a result of all those hearings. So the MLAs kind of compiled what they heard and deliberated and submitted a report with 20 recommendations to the government. And largely it was about spraying. Now, I want to mention again how Quebec banned the use of glyphosate based on the opinion of its citizens, what the people wanted, what its MLAs were lobbying for as a result of what they were hearing from their people. Okay, this is the only way we can stop this spray from ending up in our ecosystem and in our environment, is from citizens like you, voters like you, choosing to use their voice. And so I would argue an election coming up is one of the primary ways to do that, because despite there being well over 35,000 signatures on Stop Spraying New Brunswick, Stop Spraying NB.ca, that petition only went so far. And of course, if we have many, many conservative MLAs, they are largely quiet on this. They've been given a failing grade by conservation groups. I want to show you the result of the report. When that report came out with the 20 recommendations, was there a ban on glyphosate after hearing the mounting body of evidence of its harms? Well, spoiler alert, no, there was no ban. Corbett, who is the executive director, Lois Corbett, executive director of the Conservation Council of New Brunswick, said in a statement she's disappointed that the committee, Standing Committee on Climate Change and Environmental Stewardship, failed to recommend a ban on glyphosate spraying in the Crown Forest, despite everything. 76% of New Brunswickers asked for that in a September 2020 poll. In 2016, 35,000 citizens signed a Stop Spraying New Brunswick petition. That is still ongoing, and they campaign every year. I am proud to sign that and be part of that as well. There is a call for a ban on glyphosate in the woods. Even if we just leave aside the agricultural piece where farmers choose to apply it according to the labeled instructions. I talked about this yesterday on how Wikipedia phrases it. The spraying from helicopters, at the very least, which is 40% of forested crown lands, that could have been dealt with and stopped because of the evidence. It has not been. And so this article goes on. The committee also fell short of recommending that taxpayers no longer fund large forestry companies' silviculture programs. Remember, Quebec's silviculture, which means forestry practice, they have used manual cutting and completely without the use of glyphosate in the woods. And so the committee fell short of doing that, including spraying, which the Auditor General determined in her 2015 report cost taxpayers $29 million a year. I've been on here for 76 days asking for example, $1 million for a year-round ferry for Campobello, and we don't know where we find that money. But $29 million, for example, goes to subsidize forestry in this province. So the money's there. It's just a matter of where you allocate it. The plans are there. It's just a matter of whether you elect an MLA who will implement that, and a team of MLAs who are committed to that. Jason Killarn said his company, JDI Limited, receives between $500,000 up to $800,000 per year for spraying on the Crown Forest's Irving control. So did you know that your money, my money, is actually going towards spraying glyphosate? And here's the 20 points. So the report that was tabled, you can read it online. 20 recommendations were made. Remember, they are recommendations. They have absolutely no teeth. There is no obligation for the ministry, for the Higgs government, to take up on these at all. And I would love to see some sort of review. Here it is 3 years later. Have any of these things happen? With respect to forest management, the recommendations include conducting a cost-benefit study about current practices, implementing a combination of ecological forestry and new protected natural areas, ensuring protected natural areas are interconnected with greater diversity. And the Conservation Council was happy about these things, even though, again, the recommendations are not enough and they are not required to be implemented. And about glyphosate, recommendation on new bans and no spraying zones include increasing the distance companies can spray glyphosate by helicopter near homes by 500 meters to 1 kilometer. So stay away from houses. Keep spraying, but keep away from houses. Requiring a spraying buffer of 100 meters from protected natural areas. Banning spraying in designated municipal drinking water areas. Yes, thank you. That should be a given. Have the Minister of Natural Resources and Energy request that NB Power immediately begin phasing out spraying glyphosate under transmission lines. This, again, is, to me, just kind of like a nod about how, okay, let's use less of it, even though the evidence continues to mount that this is toxic and this is harmful. And I think New Brunswickers do not want this to happen. And as your MLA in Saint Croix, I will be very vocal about this, that we want this to stop. And it is very possible. It's just a matter of citizens coming together and using their voice and saying, not only do we want to stop paying for it, because that's a minimum, I think, we also want it to stop happening. Tomorrow will be the last glyphosate episode, because what I want to bring to you is an addendum, a statement that David Kuhn released shortly after this in 2021, as well as Indigenous leaders talking about how their right to hunt and fish on Crown land, according to the Peace and Friendship treaties, that I also made videos about that earlier this year. Spraying glyphosate on those lands impinges on those rights. So I want to talk about that tomorrow. We'll bring it home. What is the Green position officially on glyphosate? I'm sure you can guess what it is already, but that'll put a cap on it, and then we'll move forward with other topics. That was episode 77, friends. See you.